Good morning, sisters. Welcome to episode 8 of Provident Living. I keep switching all over places in my house trying to find the best light. My husband will have something to say about the bright and the dark, but anyway, we got some light. Let's get going. So today I'm going to have a homework assignment for you. It's been a while since we did that, but I want you to do this little project when we're finished. I'll tell you at the end. Today we're going to talk about 72-hour kids, and I kind of made another little list to help people. Things that you might want to consider to have in those lists. And once again, these have to be individualized according to your needs, your family's needs. But I keep going back to, some of the big, huge world events, when people had to really just get out of their homes immediately with minutes. And so that's going to affect not only... Well, that's going to influence a lot of things. So 72-hour kit is for you to have for a 3-day emergency period to get you safe, get you somewhere safe. If you have to just leave your house and you can't come back to it, that's the purpose of a 72-hour kit. So let's talk about where to keep those. Now, if you put them in the trunk of your car, and there are some that are specifically made for the trunk of your car, but just keep in mind that even if your car is parked in a garage, where the heat and the cold is not too terrible, you are going to take that car and park it in the 100 and some odd degree weather sometime if you go shopping or an appointment or a long drive. You're going to take that car in the middle of winter in freezing temperatures, so that whatever is in your trunk is going to be subject to that high, low temperature change. So that's not the best place to keep your 72-hour kits, unless you want to really redo them every few months to put fresh food items in there and other things that may go bad. So something to think about. But it is wise to keep them as close to a door you might exit as possible. So if you have a coat closet by your front door that you could hang them in, or if you have we keep ours right next to our garage door, that I could just grab it and run out. Anyway, something to think about. The other thing to think about is how heavy they are, because you don't know if you're going to be able to throw them in your car or if you literally are going to be on foot. And if that's the case, you are going to be packing whatever you have for possibly ways, something that you have to carry all over the place. So I heard from one of those gals in our ward that years ago they had done lanyards with important things on the lanyard, so you could just grab those and put them on. And I think that's a really great idea, especially for your kids. You have to think about where you're going to be, where your family's going to be, if and when an emergency happens. It is very likely that if you have children, they're not going to be at home. If you work, you're not going to be at home. So therefore, the trunk of your car is a possibility. If it were me, if it is me, we have emergency supplies in our car, but also the 72-hour kits. So if you can't go home to get your 72-hour kits, it's not a bad idea to have a few things in your car as well. Also, if you send your kids to school, I don't know what the school systems are like around here because I don't have little kids since we've moved here. But back where we used to live, every year at the beginning of the year, they would ask us to send things, just some little treats, a picture of our family, just some little thing that would be comforting to the kids to have, and they kept them at school. If our schools here don't do that, then maybe take a pocket in your children's backpacks and make that a special pocket where they have some things that can comfort them until you can get to them. Because it's very likely that you're going to be separated and have to find your way back to each other when an emergency happens. So those little things can really go a long way, especially with little kids. It's really important to have a plan or a discussion. Okay, if this and this happens, then let's get back together here. Or you wait there and we will come to you. Whatever that is. Know what your school's plan is. And I do believe that most schools have a policy or a plan. At least they have a plan to get them out of the building. But to reunite them with families, I'm not sure. So acquaint yourself with whatever that is in your area. Okay, so in your 72-hour kit, you're going to want some kind of communication. So obviously we always have our cell phones on hand and right there with us. But I'm thinking of the fires in California this last summer and how literally some people had to leave from the front door as soon as they got that knock. So call your family and walk out the door. So if your cell phone is not on your person, you may not have time. If it's a fire, if it's a fire in your home, if it's an earthquake, you may not have time to grab it before you get out of the house. So maybe some other communication devices in your car. Walkie-talkies aren't a bad idea. That gets a little expensive and a little crazy and only works within certain range. But still, it's an idea. So either that or have an extra cell phone that's a 911 cell phone or just something that you can use. An emergency radio is a really good idea so that you can be aware of what's going on and what this all entails. If you're having to flee your home, you may not know all the details or where to go that is safe. So being able to tune into some of those emergency channels is a really good idea. So they do have emergency radios, hand crank or solar powered, that you can have in your bug out kit. Okay, so some kind of transportation. It's a good idea to keep your car never less than half full of gas. So think about it. If it's a huge disaster, you're going to have to travel quite a ways to a place to fill up. If it's a fire or an earthquake, if the electricity's out, you can't pump gas because there's no gas. That relies on that to pump the gas for you. So there's some ideas. Bikes might not be a bad idea. I don't have one yet, but I kind of want to get one of those 3-wheel bikes, the little old lady ones that I'm almost qualified for now, that have the baskets. I just think that if I couldn't use my car and I needed to get around just in my area or my little city, that would be super helpful to me. So something to think about. When you think about your 72-hour kits, if you have pets should be the last thing on your mind, but that's not really the truth for those of us who love our little pets. You're going to try and take them with you. So when you plan your bug out kit or stuff that you have in the car, think about them. What would you need to feed them or water? Water's big. And on that, water, they have straws now that filter water. They have water bottles with filters. They are great because you literally cannot carry enough water on your body. It's too heavy. So those will be big, but you do have to have a water source to use them in. But you can pretty much use those depending on how, advanced you get in those things, in a dirty stream, in a puddle, a muddy puddle, and still have clear water, clear fresh water. So those are great. They're much better than taking water with you because of the weight. So just like our food storage and, temporal preparedness, you need to have light, heat or warmth, shelter if you can, and food and water. So we just talked about the water. Light, you can get all kinds of fancy gadgets and fancy things that now do light. There's, from the solar powered to the crank flashlights to the battery to the 100-hour candles which is what I have in my backpack right now. I'm not sure that I'm going to keep those in there. I think we may look into other sources just because of the weight and the bulk. But there are plenty of things out there. Keep in mind that the more technologically advanced they are, the more expensive. So have something, whether it's a little cheaper or more expensive. Even if it's candles with waterproof matches. That's what you have to do. That's not going to be a lot of warmth. So then we get to clothing. You do need some clothing. I just keep thinking of the people in California, so many of them ran out of the house with not even shoes, no shoes and socks. Can you imagine? That would not be fun to run around for days and days with no socks and shoes. And here, if it's the middle of winter, that's not great either. You can't obviously take a wardrobe with you, but maybe a change of clothes, and maybe be particular when you buy those clothing items that they are a little more advanced. Warmth, water wicking, waterproof, but a nice clean pair of underwear, especially a nice warm pair, dry and warm pair of socks would be great if you're out somewhere that it's not great, especially for little kids. But keep in mind, once again, you have to haul those with you. And I apologize, we're going to go past 10 minutes today, but only because it's a lot of stuff that I really want to cover. Shelter, outdoor protection, that can be as simple as a lean-to, which is very lightweight and expensive, or a tent. Some of those are lightweight and inexpensive, but then again, keep in mind who's going to carry that. Can you carry that? For us, we have an RV, which is, close to the house, but not in the garage. So if something happened to the house, we do have something on site that hopefully would still be okay for us to use. But we also have a trailer that has tents and other things in it that we could just quickly hook up and haul out of here. So that's a thought if you have that luxury. If you don't and you're on foot, then a lean-to is great. They also have the super thin blankets. You can find those just about anywhere. I know Walmart has them. Smith & Edwards around here has them. They're only $1 or $2 each. Sleeping bags even, so blanket sleeping bags, they use your body heat to keep you warm. So those are great and lightweight and super small and compact. They're great for first aid kits. Okay, you need to have some great footwear. So if you run out of the house in stilettos, that's going to be a long 3 days, especially if you're walking somewhere. So you need to have some great footwear, either buy your 72-hour kits or in your 72-hour kits or in your trunk of your car, something that you could throw on if you have to be outdoors or walking or, on foot. You're going to need some matches, some flint and steel, something to create warmth with what you can find out around you, but make sure that those are kept dry and safe and away from kids. Important papers and documents. Now, this is big. Obviously, you want copies, but you probably are going to need those I just keep thinking of the California fires. And what do you do if your whole house, your whole neighborhood, your whole house, heck, even the company that you did business with maybe is gone and all those records are gone. So if you have a copy of your homeowner's insurance, your identification, your children's identification to prove that they are yours, just some things like that. Obviously, you need to keep them safe so that you protect yourself against fraud. But things like that are really helpful rather than waiting months and trying to figure out how you can replace them if you lose them. ID kind of goes with the important papers and documents. Cash. So have a little bit of cash on hand, or maybe a lot of cash on hand. If you have to run out of the house and you don't have time to run back in and get your wallet, your cards, any cash you might have on hand, having that somewhere so that you could get a hotel room, or you could buy some food, or transportation, you could pay for that. Just some situation where you might need some cash. I think that about covered it, so let's quickly get to the little assignment today. I want you guys, and I want no cheating. I want you to set a timer, either a stopwatch or a wristwatch or a little timer that you carry around, whatever. And I want you to have a little drill, and I want it to be one person in charge of it, so don't alert anybody else. You can go 2 minutes, you can go 5 minutes, but I want you to give everybody just that amount of time to grab anything they're going to grab and get out of the house. And then I want you to regroup and assess, okay, how successful were we? What were we able to grab? What was most important? In the panic, did we grab things that really weren't that important that we could have gotten by without? Because think of survival. Yeah, it's nice if you take grandma's, painting that she did all those years ago, but maybe it's a little nicer that you grab some shelter or food or warmth or something that would help your family stay alive. So if you already have those gathered and together and you can go grab those quickly, then you might have time to grab some of those other little precious things to get you out of the house and out of that situation. So I want you to do this, and it would be fun to hear your input about how this went with your family, but I don't want any cheating, so nobody can know what's going to happen except for one person, obviously. You pick a time, and I want it to be a time because these are unexpected. You don't know when it's going to happen. So also maybe have a drill, just one that you walk through and just say, what would we do in this scenario? So if mom's at work, dad's at work, you guys are at school, what would we do? So go over a few of those. I think knowing what to do is a lot of peace to you and your family. It solves a lot of terror for little kids. They know that, okay, this happened, but we talked about it, and this is what I can expect, and I'll just wait here or do this until I can be reunited with my family. So it's really important. Anyway, that's your assignment. Sorry about the way over today. Really important stuff. We'll see you next time, Thursday at 10. Have a great week.